ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
Well, those big crowds were back out again for another Wednesday night in Ocean Beach. They just cleared out about half an hour ago. Good evening. I'm Steve Atkinson. Now, this comes after the city of San Diego put together a compliance team to try and make sure people weren't violating the county's public health order. But as our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala explains, residents say more needs to be done to address the bigger issues.
Veterans Park in Ocean Beach was still packed this Wednesday night, despite the city sending out a compliance team earlier in the day. Before the sun went down, this was the scene. Some residents say they did see a bit of an improvement from the past several weeks.
It's clearly an improvement, although it's still early.
But once the sun went down, the crowds were back.
Piles of trash that get left and open containers and aggressive behavior.
Tim Johnson lives nearby and shot these videos 2 weeks ago. He says this is what Ocean Beach residents have had to deal with over and over again. A drum circle bringing in massive crowds after the farmers market. On Tuesday, the city put up this fence to try to keep the crowds out, but it was torn down right after and wasn't replaced. While the city's compliance team was out, the goal was to focus on educating people about the county's public health order prohibiting mass gatherings. The crew handed out masks to those who didn't have them on.
There was unacceptable levels of people coming together and congregating together, getting really, really close without masks or social distancing.
Joel Day is the senior advisor for COVID response and recovery with the city of San Diego. He says the enforcement team consists of 12 people, from code compliance to park rangers and parking enforcement.
And we're asking people, don't congregate here. Please wear a mask if you're around other people, and please socially distance.
But Johnson says the issues go beyond gathering during a pandemic, and a lot more needs to be done to get to the root of the problem.
The COVID issue is secondary to the other problem, and that other problem is that illegal, obnoxious, aggressive behavior, trash, has been let to continue on without being enforced.
Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Also tonight, we are following breaking news out of LA County where the lake fire continues to rage. The last update at 7 o'clock from the Angeles National Forest had the burn at 10,000 acres, but that fire had been growing rapidly since it started at 3, so we expect that acreage to be much higher during the next update. Fire crews say it's burning at a rapid rate of speed because of the high winds, the heat, and low humidity. Tonight, CAL FIRE San Diego has sent a strike team of 5 engines to help. North County has also sent 3 strike teams. There is no containment on the fire at the moment. There are mandatory evacuations and reports of several houses that are burning. Here's a closer look at where all of this is unfolding. The fire is burning in the Lake Hughes community of the Angeles National Forest, north of Santa Clarita. We're going to keep watching it and update you as we learn more. In the meantime, our meteorologist, Angelica Campos, is here tracking how the weather is impacting this fire and the firefight. Angelica.
Hi, Steve, just like you mentioned, of course, the low humidity and the wind creating very difficult conditions for any fire, and not just in the Angeles Forest area, but also for our county as well. The temperatures there not really cooling down much, 83 degrees after an afternoon in the 90s and triple digits. This afternoon when we did a report around 5 o'clock, temperatures were already at 98 degrees, so it was a scorcher out there. And the heat is also going to be impacting that region. Expecting excessive heat with an excessive heat warning going into effect on Friday, just like it is going to be in effect also for our county. I'll have more in our 7-day forecast coming up.
Angelica, thank you. The latest coronavirus numbers released late tonight are offering new hope that San Diego County schools, they could get permission to reopen here in just a little over 2 weeks. Today, for the first time in more than a month, San Diego County is now meeting all of the metrics set by the state. Our ABC 10 News anchor Derek Stahl goes in depth on the numbers to explain what's next.
At the moment, schools in San Diego County cannot hold in-person classes because the county is on the California Department of Public Health's watch list. The state looks at 6 metrics to gauge how much impact COVID is having on a community, and there's now just one metric standing in the way of in-person classes.
Do you see some blue spreading out with the red?
It's the question on so many parents' minds. How close are we to allowing kids back in classrooms in San Diego County?
We are very close to being off of the monitoring list.
County Public Health Officer Dr. Wilma Wooten says everything now hinges on this number, item 1, case rate per 100,000. Yesterday we were in the red, but late this evening we hit the green for the first time since July 3rd. However, this metric is complicated. So complicated that the county and the state calculate their numbers differently, and there's no way for anyone in the public to check those calculations. They start by asking people when their COVID symptoms first appeared, total those cases up within a 14-day window, and then adjust for a county's population. Now that San Diego County is below 100 for one day, the goal is to stay in the green on all the state metrics for another 2 days to get off the watch list, and then another 14 consecutive days on top of that to officially allow schools to reopen.
The goal is not just to get that number below 100, get it below 100 and stay below 100. And so we can't have the mindset that once we're off the state monitoring list, well, everything's fine. And then we just go back to normal, because then we'll simply have it spike back up and we'll be in this seesaw situation.
Long story short, if current trends continue, K-12 schools could get the green light to reopen campuses as early as the end of this month. Derek Stahl, ABC 10 News.
And just to add another wrinkle, some San Diego schools could open even if we remain on that watch list. Elementary schools can apply for a waiver to host classes on campus, but the bottom line is that for grades 7 through 12, the only way they will reopen is if we're off the watch list. If you would like to go more in depth with the cases in your community, ABC 10 News has a complete section devoted to tracking COVID in the county. Just go to 10news.com, click on the local COVID tracker at the top of the homepage there. And you're also going to find cases by zip code, even a breakdown by age group. And here are the latest coronavirus numbers for our county. 236 new cases were reported today. That brings our total to 33,393. There were also 6 new deaths reported, bringing that total to 608. Also tonight, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris made their first appearance together as running mates today. The joint ticket kicked off its campaign in Biden's hometown of Wilmington, Delaware. Now, because of the pandemic, there were no large rallies. Rather, it was more intimate. An affair for Biden, Harris, and their families. Today, Biden explained in part why he chose Harris, while Harris shared a simple message.
One of the reasons I chose Kamala is because we both believe that we can define America simply in one word: possibilities.
As I said, Joe, when you called me, I am incredibly honored by this responsibility, and I'm ready to get to work.
Harris is the first woman of color nominated for vice president by a major party. Yesterday, President Trump called her, quote, their #1 draft pick. Today, though, he called her nasty. Many Californians also agree with Biden's pick for vice president. In our ABC 10 News Union Tribune poll, 53% of voters say that Kamala Harris was the right choice. 30% say Biden should have chosen someone else. 18% they're still thinking about it.
To show that this community doesn't stand for hatred and to just show support.
An outpouring of support for a man who sells mangoes in Bonita after he says he was harassed by at least 2 women in the last week. But after just one social media post, he's now been selling out of fruit every day. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo spoke to him and the people supporting him to find out how this started.
The man tells me he's been selling fruit outside of the Bonita post office for about a month now. Last Thursday, one interaction led to overwhelming community support.
So then it's not your business then, right?
It was this video posted on a community Facebook page that started everything. LaToya Ventura's daughter started recording after Ventura says she noticed a fruit vendor being harassed. We've blurred the woman's face because the recording starts after the alleged incident.
I heard some commotion, and I can hear a lady basically yelling and saying that Gilberto shouldn't be there and he needs to leave, and I just yelled out, leave him alone.
Gilberto did not want to go on camera, but tells ABC 10 News the woman was asking to see his permit and telling him to leave.
And he said that the woman had been here periodically giving him a hard time, saying that he couldn't be here. He was a disgrace, that she was going to call the police, she was going to call Border Patrol, and things like that.
The post received hundreds of comments and shares. Gilberto has been selling out of fruit every day since, selling double the amount of mangoes and strawberries he used to sell just a week ago.
When something bad happens in our communities, there's always good that comes out of it, and it's more unity and peace, and that's what's happening here.
Today, Gilberto says another woman came by to ask for his permit, but this time he says she made threats to physically harm him. Gilberto tells ABC 10 News that the woman said this was not his country.
We both just jammed over here, and that's, we came to find out that there was a racist lady that said that to leave this country, you don't belong here, that she was going to bring up more people to do harm.
Gilberto called several people to help him, including Marcos Navarro.
Police took a report, and we're still here supporting them, making sure that they're safe.
This video shows when sheriff's deputies arrived to talk to Gilberto. The deputies do ask about a food license in the video.
His fruit's selling out daily. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think we're all living in tough times and everyone's just trying to make it.
ABC 10 News did reach out to the sheriff's department to find out about the investigation and the status of the permit, but so far have not heard back. Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.